This is Vicinity FM 95.3.
Enjoy.
Friday morning right here. See, before, we don't need a great man to do great things. We just need a man who is ready and who is prepared. Then you can go do great things. Great man don't just become a great man. One day, they made it through something before they were called great men. Today is Friday. Welcome you on Newspaper Review, where we get to bring you all the top stories on the dailies and also the details of these top stories. Do how to join the conversation this morning. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. And today is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Thank goodness it's free. You know what they say on Friday? You get the best of smile because it's the weekend.
Yes, good morning and welcome to the newspaper review on Vicinity 95.3 FM. Thank God it's Friday and thank God it's the beginning of another weekend. Do join us on Vicinity 95.3 FM. I am Aisha Ibrahim.
Yeah, I will kick all the top stories on our dailies with Nigerian Tribune. Before me is The Punch, Daily Independent, and The Guardian newspaper.
Yeah, before me this morning is the Nation newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, and the Daily Trust newspaper.
And PDP crisis gets messier. 5 days to 100th NEC meeting. Acting National Chairman postpones June 30 NEC meeting. And reinstate Anyanwu as National Secretary. 11 members counter Damangu over Anyanwu.
On Nation is paper this morning. New tax laws to open up economics, says Tinubu. PDP but opposes Anyawu's return as National Secretary. Tinubu, bus terminals will curtail one chance. Is traffic woes in FCT. Why federal government is running 3 budgets simultaneously by Budget Office.
And now to the Punch newspaper. On the front page of the Punch, Federal Revenue agencies face shake-up as Tinubu signs tax bills. PDP board defies INEC backs Makinde block for NEC meeting. Still on the Punch. Outrage as no get reject for Osun allocation transfer to APC chairman. Anambra, Edo, Oyo, 9 orders to vote in August by-elections. Muslims New Year, state observe holiday as Ansaruddin demands reform. Senate films as NNPCL shuns 210 trillion naira audit probe. Benue secured IDPs to return soon. CDS. Akume Alia moved to reunite amid Benue carnage. IGP probes officers 2 million naira retirement pay claim in viral video. Madungu not under pressure to deliver 10th WAFCON title. The top stories on the Punch.
Now on the Vanguard newspaper, President Tinubu to commission Kabusa to Keti Road today in Abuja. Drug abuse worsening, insecurity, Tinubu, Magwa. 210 trillion, Senate 210 trillion naira. Senate gives NNPC a fresh 10-day ultimatum, reject 2-month plea. Still on the Vanguard newspaper, 6 killed as IED explodes in Imo market. INEC fixes August 16 for by-elections in 12 states. And still on the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu reunite Wike, Fabura, Rivers lawmakers.
To Daily Independence, Nigeria's budget overlap sign of effective fiscal transition. Tanimu, fight against illicit drugs, a national movement. Tinubu, we arrested 66,000 convicts in 12.221 in 53 months. Marwa, new tax laws necessary for Nigeria's prosperity, says Tinubu. FG to rule out modalities soon. Implementation kicks off in January. INEC schedules by-election in 12 states for August 16. Senate plans zonal meeting with stakeholders to tackle insecurity. Confirms Chairman MD 15 orders to South for 5 South Development Commission. From the government replies Catholic Church on a war. Memorial Park demolition. NDIC gets new MD as Senate confirms Thompson. PDP boards counters. Demangum says Anyanwu can't resume neck. Oaths. Dangote is pride of Nigeria's financial market. NGX Group Chairman.
Now on the Daily Trust newspaper, PDP board backs NWC members, insist on June 30 NEC meeting. Reps probe plays over weapons supply contracts, assets sales. Windstorm, rainstorm, flooding killed 220 persons in 3 months. VAT remains 7.5%, CIT 30% as Tinubu signs tax reform bills. Governance shortfalls impeding Nigeria's economy. NJC sends 9 Imo judges on compulsory retirement.
On the Guardian, use presidential power to restructure Nigeria, create state police. Afenifere tells Tinubu, we have strengthened ICRC as engine room for infrastructure revolution, says Tinubu. SAN slams FG, alleges B to divert Osun LG allocation. Less for more, our erratic supply shortchanges Band A household industries. Senate turns heat on NNPCL over 210 trillion naira audit mess. Cautious optimism as Nigeria treads new tracks starting from January 2026. Falano asked AGF to drop criminal cases against free speech. INEC to conduct by-elections, resume voter registration in August. PDP board opposes Anyanwu's reinstatement as court set September 22 for National Secretary dispute. Marua links 90% of terrorism, violent crimes to drug use.
Now on the story of the Nation newspaper this morning. Insecurity. Senate urges federal government to seek foreign help, upgrade military kits. The Senate yesterday urged the federal government to seek foreign help to enable the country to overcome the growing insecurity in the land. The Red Chamber was reacting to rising cases of bandit attacks and the killings of military personnel and innocent Nigerians by armed bandits across the country. It advised the government to charge the Nigerian Armed Forces, the Nigerian Police, and other security agencies to be alive to their responsibilities, as well as develop innovative ways to combat the rising spurt of insecurity in the country.
Now bring you details of some of the headlines on the Guardian newspaper. PDP board opposes IM's reinstatement as court sets September 22nd for national scribe dispute. The Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party yesterday opposed the announcement of Samuel Ayamu as the party's national secretary, even as the Federal High Court in Abuja scheduled September 22nd to hear a suit on the PDP's national secretary dispute. In a statement, Adolfo Obara, chairman of the board, also opposed the postponement of the National Executive Council NEC meeting scheduled for June 30. During a press conference on Wednesday, Umar Damangu, acting national chairman of the PDP, had stated that Anyanwu would resume as the party's national secretary.
Now, still on the Nation newspaper for this morning, Tinubu to civil servants, drop passive bureaucracy, embrace digital system. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has advised Nigeria's civil servants to shed their traditional passivity and take the central stage in driving the country's transformation. The president spoke while declaring open the inaugural International Civil Service Conference yesterday in Abuja. He said the era of bureaucratic era was over, insisting that a digital, innovative and performance-driven civil service is now central to achieving his administration's renewed hope agenda.
Cautious optimism as Nigeria treads new tax terrain from January 2026. Finally, President Bola Tinubu has signed the 4 tax bills into law. That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And the long-awaited overhaul of Nigeria's fiscal and revenue administration is taken off with the signing of 4 tax bills into law by President Bola Tinubu. The signing ceremony held at the presidential villa in Abuja was witnessed by top government officials, National Assembly leaders, and relevant committee heads. The new tax regime means different things to different people, while Nigerians are still apprehensive over the possible backlash when it becomes fully operational. Businesses are cautiously optimistic, believing it can only get better. This would come into full play in January 2026, so fingers crossed as we wait 6 months when we start, we jump on the new tax reform bills and it becomes operational across the 36 states in the country. We don't have this cost controversy in the House, National Assembly, state government and stakeholders all across. But now the bill has come to stay. It's now a law, no longer a bill. It's been passed yesterday by President Bola Tinubu. Well, Some group of Nigerians are optimistic. Until we start, it comes into full operation. We can only keep our fingers crossed.
Senate clears chairman, directors for SWDC, SSDC, NCDC. The Senate yesterday confirmed the nomination of candidates for appointment as chairmen, managing directors and executive directors, and members of the board of the Southwest Development Commission (SWDC), the South-South Development Commission (SSDC), and the North Central Development Commission (NCDC). The resolution of the Senate followed its consideration and adoption of the recommendations of its committee on SWDC, SSDC, and SCDC during plenary. The chairman of the Senate Committee on SWDC, Yunus Akintunde, the Oyo Central, presented the report and recommended that the following nominees be confirmed by the Senate as the chairman and the members of the board of the commission.
And now back to the Guardian. INEC to conduct by-elections resume voter registration in August. Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has scheduled by-elections for Saturday, August 16 to fill vacant seats in the National State Assemblies across 16 constituencies in 12 states. The Commission also announced the resumption of continuous voter registration nationwide, with online pre-registration set to begin on Monday, August 18, while in-person registration will commence on Monday, August 2025. INEC chairman at a point mentioned that they couldn't conduct the by-elections due to finances and other concerns. In by-elections is for the 2 senatorial districts, 5 federal constituencies, and 9 state assembly constituents, involving over 3.5 million registered voters across 32 local government areas and 356 wards and 6,987 polling units. The by-election is coming up due to some people who have left the position of the National Assembly and State House for other future political ambition, and this seat has been left vacant for a while. But now I think INEC is ready to conduct these by-elections for 16 seats in national, state, and other positions, left vacant since these people moved on to other, plans.
Still on the Nation newspaper, court declines EFCC's plea to cross-examine witness in Bello's trial. A federal high court in Abuja has declined a request by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to cross-examine its witness in the ongoing trial of former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello for alleged money laundering. In a ruling yesterday, Justice Emeka Wite held that there was no legal provision that allowed the court to permit the prosecution to re-examine its witness in the manner proposed by the anti-graft agency's lawyer, Kemi Fierro-San.
And still on the Guardian, we have strengthened ICR as engine room for Nigeria's infrastructure revolution. President Tinubu has declared that his administration has significantly strengthened the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission (ICRC), transforming it into a central powerhouse for the delivery of public-private partnership projects across Nigeria. Speaking at the 2025 Public-Private Partnership Summit held at the State House, Dr. Old, the president said he did not come into government to maintain the status quo, said he came into the government to transform it.
Now on the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu reunites Wike Fubara Rivers lawmakers. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday met with Governor Simino Layi Fubara of Rivers State, Minister of Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike, Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly Martins Amohule, and other members of the State Assembly in a bid to end the lingering political crisis in the state. The closed-door meeting at the presidential villa marked the first time Governor Fubara was seen with President Tinubu since the president declared a state of emergency in Rivers on March 18.
Still on the Guardian, Senate turns heat on NNPCL or the 210 trillion naira audit mess. Nigeria's National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL's) come under intense fire as the Senate Public Accounts Committee issues a 10-day ultimatum for the country to explain the over 210 trillion naira audit discrepancies prescribed by lawmakers as potentially the most alarming financial irregularities in the nation's petroleum history, but gave the group managing director to July 10, 2025 to appear before it and respond to all outstanding issues. Relatedly, the House of Representatives called for an immediate and comprehensive investigation into the Nigerian police force following allegations of corruption, illegal asset sales, and contract fraud amounting to over 50 billion naira. Well, the National Assembly is really turning the heat on some of government agencies, just to figure out where some of this money are just, to allow them account for some of the finances in their custody.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, INEC fixes August 16 for by-elections in 12 states. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has fixed August 16 for conduct of 16 constituency by-elections in 12 states of the Federation. The Commission, which said it will be deploying 30,451 officials for the exercise, also announced the resumption of the continuous voter registration CVR nationwide with effect from August 18.
Use presidential power to restructure Nigeria, create state police. Attorney Perry tells Tinubu the socio-political group Attorney Perry urged President Bola Tinubu to say, too, as a matter of importance for the bill for the immediate restructuring of the country, the creation of state police to the National Assembly. This was as Nigeria's leading geopolitical research consultants, SBM Intelligence, released fresh data highlighting the leading role of Boko Haram in the series of bombing and attacks in Nigeria in the past 3 years, during an expanded executive committee meeting at the Akure country home of the national leader, Ruben Fashoranti. The Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization emphasized that the move became imperative following the state of insecurity in the country.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, 6 killed as IED explodes in Imo market. 6 persons have been killed by an explosion caused by an improvised explosive device (IED) planted at Eke Ubaize Market, Awo Idemile, also local government area of Imo State. The incident, Vanguard gathered, has generated confusion and anxiety in Ubaize and its adjoining communities as new bomb planted in the market by unknown persons spread like wildfire.
Still on the Guardian, Owo massacre, sinister, demolition gets messier, Aiyedatiwa tackles clergy. The demolition of the cemetery built by the former governor of Ondo State, the late Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, to immortalize and honor victims of worshippers of St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, has continued to generate a blame game following the stance of the state government over the demolition. The state governor, Loke Aiyedatiwa, while expressing dismay over the position of the Catholic Bishop of Ondo Diocese, Most Reverend Jude Aruguzade, on the demolition, said that the bishop failed to explore the proper channel of communication. Aiyedatiwa, describing the bishop's disposition as false. The statement issued by his chief press secretary, Benita Abino, emphasized that the demolition of the memorial park was a necessary step undertaking to restore the dignity of Polish culture and the original purpose of the site.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper, Secretary Tosso, confusion as PDP crisis persists over NEC meeting. People's Democratic Party (PDP) is currently mired in confusion over whether its rescheduled 100th National Executive Committee (NEC) meeting will still hold as planned. This followed a decision by Acting National Chairman Umar Damagum, who turned the NEC meeting into an expanded caucus meeting and reinstated Senator Samuel Ayawu as National Secretary. The party's Board of Trustees Board and National Working Committee (NWC) have insisted the NEC meeting must go ahead, stressing that the 99th NEC meeting had resolved that disputes over the National Secretary be settled at the next NEC meeting.
Now this brings me to Daily Independence this morning. Let's take a look at the stories on Daily Independent. Wow, here, an essay of mine, Obasanjo, Atiku, Tinubu at a time like this. It says that June 1, 2025 conveys that President Bola Tinubu took time off his Eid-el-Kabir break, Lagos, to visit sports across the country, and also sought to pitch the response time of former Nigerian leaders, notably former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Vice President Atiku Abubakar during the periods of concern concerning tragedies against that of President Bola Tinubu following recent grievous national calamities, much as the Air India plane crash of Sunday, June 15, which claimed the lives of 241 passengers, occurred 2 days after the most recent bloodletting in Benue. The reaction time of the Indian Prime Minister to the tragedy, Narendra Modi, was swift and noteworthy.
Now on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, flood updates. Windstorm, flooding killed 220 persons in 3 months. No fewer than 220 people have been killed and over 8,000 displaced following a series of rainstorm and flooding across Sokoto, Kaduna, Taraba, Cross River, Ekiti, Ogun, Niger and Imo State between March and June 2025. An analysis of reports by Daily Trust as compared by Miriam Gromotena showed that more than 2,500 homes were destroyed, while over 60 people sustained varying degrees of injuries as these disasters hit the states.
Well, I think we will not hear enough of this PDP crisis because the battle is still on and raging. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party on Thursday took a different turn as the Board of Trustees of the party kicked against the announcement of Samuel Ayamu as National Secretary of the party.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, fiscal policy, VAT remains 7.5%, CIT 30% as Tinubu signs tax reform bills. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday signed the 4 tax reform bills recently passed by the National Assembly, retaining value-added tax VAT at 7.5% and the corporate income tax CIT at 30% without any increment. The bills are the Nigeria's Tax Bills Ease of Doing Business, which aims to consolidate Nigeria's fragmented tax laws into a harmonized statute, and Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, which will establish a uniform legal and operational framework for tax administration across federal, states, and local governments.
Now, President Bola Tinubu still taxed the 4 tax reform bills recently passed into law. Said it was necessary and pivotal to the success of the country's prosperity. The bills, which include Nigerian Tax Bill ease of doing business, which aims to consolidate Nigeria's fragmented tax laws into harmonized status and orders. And he said operational framework for tax administration across which will establish a uniform legal and operational framework for tax administration across federal, state, and local government.
Still on Daily Trust newspaper this morning, civil service must remain agile, result driving. Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has said that the civil service is the engine driving the renewed hope agenda and the vehicle for delivering sustainable national development. He said their roles remain indispensable in modern governance and that in the face of fast evolving digital and economic landscape, the civil service must remain agile, future ready and result driven.
Well, President Bola Tinubu has come to say if you don't like him, acknowledge his work. Tinubu boasts of transforming Abuja. Speaking through Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, who ably represented him at the 11th day of the FCT 16-day project commissioning series. President Tinubu said, if you don't like me, if you are honest, you must admit the work I'm doing. Come to Abuja and see for yourself. The facts are on the ground. The commissioning of the ultra-modern Kubwa Box Terminal was the highlight of Thursday event. Another milestone in the Tinubu's administration aggressive urban transformation agenda. The president, through his representative, praised the FCT minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, for his commitment, execution, and results.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, Reps probe please over weapons supply contracts, assets sales. The House of Representatives has launched an investigation into the Nigerian Police Force (NPF) following revelations of an alleged 50 billion naira scandal involving the supply of arms, ammunition, and security equipment to the force. This followed the adoption of a motion of urgent national importance jointly sponsored by Reps Ibe Okwara Osunwa, Mark Essex, and Jafaru Leko during plenary yesterday. The lawmakers raised concerns over alleged widespread irregularities in police procurement processes, which they say threaten national security and credibility of the force.
President Bola Tinubu is directing a comprehensive personnel audit and skills gap analysis across the federal civil service to deepen capacity. Tinubu gave the directive on Thursday at the International Civil Service Conference in Abuja, charged all responsible stakeholders to prioritize the timely completion of this critical exercise with a view to implementing targeted reforms and realize the full benefits of a more agile, competent, and responsive civil service.
Still on the Daily Trust newspaper, Enyimba 3SC stepped up preparation for Eco pre-season tunnel. Enyimba of Aba and Shooting Stars of Ibadan have resumed camp in preparation for the forthcoming Eco International Cup football tournament taking place in Lagos. The pre-season football tournament will run between July 6 and 13 at the Mobolaji Johnson Stadium, with 2 matches to be played on daily basis.
And yesterday was marked as World Drug Day. That's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. And on reports by the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, has said, in the past 4.5 years, the agency has arrested 66,085 offenders, including 94 identified drug barons and 12,201 convicted, by 26,393 rehabilitated in 53 months. It's a true operational offensive action seizures made by the agency within the threshold of assorted illicit drugs, with life sentences now being secured in court. while a total of 12,201 offenders have backed various jail terms with the same period. Stories on Daily Independent.
Still in sports, Brazil coach tells Neymar to prepare well for World Cup. New Brazil coach Carlo Ancelotti considers Neymar as a very important player and has urged the injury-prone star to prepare well for the 2026 World Cup. He must prepare well and he has the time to do well. That is from the Italian, and he said this in an interview with the South American Football Federation on Thursday. And that will be all on the Daily Trust newspaper for this morning.
Yeah, still newspaper review on our station, Vicinity 95.3 FM. Do not know you can join the conversation this morning on Facebook and YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. And this is the number to call 081 32371268 to join the conversation. Be right back. I have to take the story on Nigerian Tribune. Well, Tinubu meets Wike Fubara, Rivers lawmakers. Does this spell return of Fubara to power? We do not know. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday met with the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and some Wike, suspended Governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, and suspended members of the State House of Assembly led by Martins and Melule. It was learned that the meeting reconciled the parties involved in a political crisis that resulted in a declaration of emergency in the state on March 18. Recall President Tinubu, following a prolonged political crisis in Rivers State, declared a state of emergency. Tinubu blamed the governor while citing Section 305 of the 1999 Constitution for his decision, stated that the political crisis in Rivers posed a threat not just to security but also to the national economy. Well, at this point, if it's a reconciliation, we welcome it because we don't want fightings will yield to nothing. Sometimes we agree to disagree, we disagree to agree. But when the fighting is turning to something else, we seek reconciliation. So let's hope that moving forward. Well, I will say this, that weeks after a suspension, Fubara broke his silence at an event in honor of the late elder statesman, Edwin Clark, saying his spirit has left the government house. Well, I guess if they ask Fubara to return to the government house, maybe the spirit will come back. Well, at this point, we want reconciliation. But above all, the rule of law should stand. If it's after 6 months of suspension of River State, if the National Assembly and the President decide, to reinstate Fubara, well, it's beyond us. Let the law take its course.
Yeah, that will be the end of our newspaper review this morning on Vicinity 95.3 FM. Thanks for joining us, and I'm Aisha Ibrahim.
Well, it's time for us to go. I'm Oluwafunke Israel, with our executive producer, Adeshola Salami. Thanks for joining us on the show this morning. Do want to know, join us again on the morning show where we'll bring you all of the top stories this week on your darling station, Vicinity 95.3 FM. Right now, let's bow out, graciously before we will allow quick socks out. Well, do enjoy your Friday. It's the weekend, and the month is coming to an end. And this weekend will launch us into a new month, the month of July. July, welcome, the 7th month and the second half of the year. Do me something today. Just take Just take stab of your life. You know, first half is gone, but the second half, trust me, you want to be the man of the match. You want to play well. You want to do something great for yourself this 2025. You know, life keeps moving. One thing you should be doing is also move. Don't stay somewhere. Keep moving and keep progressing.
Keep moving and don't give up.
We are your connection to the sounds that surround you.
I'm a dog, but I hit music.